I thought I'd do something different for this episode, and I think about doing a few more of these, where we just do a little bit of a rapid rant, and I'll give you a couple key questions to ask yourself so that you can look at your business, look at your life, and start creating some real tangible transformations through this conversation. Because I talk to a lot of people and I'll have certain insights or certain questions to ask them. They'll have this deep insight realization, take action on it, and start seeing more and more magic in their life. And so I'm thinking, if I was to give you a few questions, if I was to give you a few topics that you could really start to think about, implement it in your business in this coming 5 or 7 days, and notice the shift, notice the change. And I was thinking, where's the best place to start with this? Where's the best place where if you were to have a deep insight, start to ask yourself questions, where would be a great place to start? And I think it is really in noticing the patterns you have on where you're jaded on a particular continuum. Now, there are certain ways in which we have human behavior. Of course, there are many, many factors that come into play, but there's a certain scale, there's a certain continuum on certain factors, and we need to understand, where are we out of balance? So let's take, for example, the masculine and feminine sides of you, the masculine traits and the feminine traits that we can have in our life and in our business. Now, the question is there a certain pattern within yourself that's overdeveloped? So for there to be more magic, more flow, for you to manifest, for you to be able to be more and more in this present moment and use your life force in this present moment, we need to be in balance. We need to be in harmony with certain factors. If you're out of balance, that's when you can start running up into blocks, fears, doubts that you can't necessarily move past. So let's say in your business, you're overdeveloped in the masculine side, which is predominantly what many people find themselves in, and you're taking action, you're focusing on strategy, you find yourself really, really action orientated and goal orientated. However, if that's overdeveloped, you don't necessarily focus on more of your intuition, your creativity, your flow, imagining ideas maturing before you take the action. Now, let's say on the other hand, you can also be overdeveloped in your feminine, where you can try to stick with the flow, try and stick with creativity, with what feels aligned in the moment. However, your feeling doesn't necessarily come into fruition when you take action with structure, scheduling, strategies. Obviously, we can look at this and say, okay, in order to live my best life, contribute what I'm here to contribute, grow in the level that I'm here to grow, I will need to integrate both sides of me. I'll need to integrate both the masculine and feminine qualities so that I can harmonize that in my business, use that to grow, contribute, even love more deeply. So I want to ask you, if you were to look at your life and think about the masculine, feminine qualities within your life and applying to business, where may you be out of balance? Where may you be overdeveloped in one side or the other? And the question is, why is that? Why is it that we get overdeveloped in the masculine or feminine, and then that starts to run our life? Well, you can think, let's take the overdeveloped masculine for a second and think, if you're overdeveloped in taking action all the time, maybe getting obsessed with outcomes, thinking who and what you are is the goal, and being attached to this outcome is my worthiness. These signs of an overdeveloped masculine have been conditioned because at some level it served you. No matter what you find yourself in, if you're out of balance with the masculine and feminine, maybe out of balance, in other areas, you got to ask yourself why that is. How is that one serving me? And if being overdeveloped masculine served you by helping you achieve when you were younger, helping you get recognition, helping you build some status, maybe getting some security, maybe achieving, certain levels of love because of it, that may be running your pattern. And as it runs your pattern, life is trying to teach you a deeper lesson that who and what you are is not this identity. So in order to become integrated, in order to become more whole, more healed, in order to integrate all qualities within yourself, life will always force you to go from the overdeveloped masculine that was once serving you into more and more of your feminine qualities. Not so you can get overdeveloped in your feminine, but so you can integrate the two qualities. So life will always guide you to whether it's forced through rest, or whether it's, more subtle signs of using your intuition, using your guidance, using your creativity, right? Being more flexible and in flow. Life will always guide you towards that. Here's the next question. Once you figured out what you're overdeveloped in, once you figured out, okay, why might that be? How was that initially serving me? The question is, if you were to go more in your feminine, and let's say you have a week where you don't plan anything and you just do what feels in flow, or you develop a little bit more creativity, a little bit more emotional sensitivity, whatever you associate with the feminine qualities, what comes up in you? If you spend 3, 4, 5 days in your feminine, what comes up? Are there uncomfortable emotions? Are there certain memories, certain patterns that come up? What's tough? What is challenging about that? About going into that feminine quality? Now, that's what brings up the very pattern of why you're overdeveloped in the masculine in the first place. There will be some things you're avoiding. There may be some beliefs that, oh my God, if I stick to my feminine, I'm not going to get anything done. Then I'm not going to succeed. I'm going to go broke. I'm going to fail. Or maybe people are going to judge me by being, more in my feminine. Or maybe I won't fit in with these certain amount of friends who are predominantly in their masculine. Whatever that may be, if you were to ask yourself, going into that side of myself, what do I need to face that I wasn't facing by being in my masculine? That's the question. You can ask these questions in reverse if you're predominantly overdeveloped in the feminine. We're taking this as a bit of an example. Now, I did this a couple years ago when my coach said, in order to sit down and harmonize both qualities, I needed to spend 2 weeks predominantly in my feminine, not scheduling, not planning. Every time I had an idea, I had to write it down and allow it to mature before I took action on it. What it allowed me to do is elevate not only my feminine, but also my masculine. Having an overdeveloped masculine also may decrease the masculine. It's almost like the potential is now maximized. When you're able to start integrating with the feminine can heal the masculine. The feminine can start being there for the masculine in a way the masculine never had before. And instead of going out and fighting, and the masculine going out there and getting all the battle scars and the wounds, but forgetting what it's even fighting for, just shooting in the dark, not knowing where the arrows are going. If you're able to stick more to your feminine and integrate that a little bit more, what will happen is the feminine will start to heal the masculine. The masculine will not only be will no longer be wounded, but you'll be able to now go out into the battlefield knowing exactly why you're fighting and exactly where to shoot and where to aim. So much more effective, so much more efficient. So the masculine can use the feminine can use the masculine in a way that's harmonized, in a way that is energizing, and in a way where you can contribute and serve. So a couple questions. 1, where are you overdeveloped? 2, why, just in curiosity, why was that pattern developed? How is it initially serving you? 3, if you are to go to the other side and use the other qualities, what stuff within yourself do you need to face? And 4, what's a next step? In order to integrate the other quality that you're not used to implementing, what does that next step look like? If it is to develop more of the feminine, maybe it is to have a day where you don't plan anything. Maybe it is to go back to nature. Maybe it is to rest. Maybe it is to stick to some creative hobby, whatever that may be. And whatever comes up along the way, allow it to be there. Face within yourself what you weren't able to face by being overdeveloped in a certain pattern. Write down those questions, see how it goes. Let me know below if you have any questions, comments, queries. Happy to know how you go. I'll see you in the next episode.